It's Calgary's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Michael Kehoe is a retail real estate specialist and considered to be an industry expert. He is often quoted as a source on retail stories by the national media. Michael is the broker with Fairfield Commercial Real Estate in Calgary. Welcome to the show, Michael, and thanks for taking the time today to be here for all our listeners.
Hello, Mario. Thanks for asking me to participate.
Okay, Michael, tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and give us some details about your current business.
I grew up in Southern Ontario and moved to Alberta in the early 1970s and got involved in the shopping center industry. Worked as a marketing director, mall manager, leasing executive. And then I started my own brokerage in 1991, Fairfield Commercial Real Estate, based in Calgary. And the rest is history.
Tell us a little bit about when you started your company. Did you need financing to start it? And how do you currently make money in your business?
Fairfield is self-financed with a ton of sweat equity. And as entrepreneurs, we work on a transactional basis, earning leasing commissions and fees.
Okay, then. What is the long-term vision for the company as you look to the future? Do you see the company expanding into other areas, other markets in the country?
Well, the firm will be, as part of its long-term strategic plan, expanding to cities like Edmonton and Vancouver. We will be adding broker partners this year and team members.
Okay, what are the biggest benefits for you being an entrepreneur in Calgary? Can you give us some good points for company, entrepreneurs out there that have to deal with these tough and challenging times these days?
Working as an entrepreneur, being self-employed, I can control my own destiny. My work day is my own. I can pick my clients as I do carefully on a know, like, and trust basis. I can choose my team members and co-workers also on a know, like, and trust basis. That works out well for me. Being an entrepreneur is challenging. Some days it's like towing on a razor blade. Commercial real estate can be a bit of a dog-eat-dog world. However, it's a great life, and it's what you make it.
Okay. Now, we do some of our best work outside of an actual office. Is there a place in Calgary close to where you work or live where you'd like to go to recharge and get inspired and think about your business?
My favorite go-to spot is in the inner city urban business district in southwest Calgary called Mission, Purple Perk Coffee Market. It's a great see and be seen place. It's a spot where you can get quiet work done, some reading, read up on a file. They have a great patio, so in the nicer weather, you can sit out there, and it's an excellent spot. For quieter reflection and a work spot, I like to go to the new Central Library here in Calgary, where I lease the cafe spaces. And it's a great environment where you can hide away and some good reading and studying done.
Okay, here's a hypothetical question for you. Imagine you were to start all over again and you just moved to Calgary, but this time you don't know anyone. Knowing what you know now, what would you do and how would you do it to start all over again as an entrepreneur?
If I were new to Calgary, I would integrate myself with the trade organizations and chosen industry. In commercial real estate, it would be BOMA, Calgary, Building Owners and Managers Association, the International Council of Shopping Center, NAIOP, Urban Land Institute. I would go hard into those organizations to make connections and a feel for the lay of the land in the local market.
Okay, what does your first hour look like for when you get up in the morning? Do you have a specific routine or ritual to get you motivated to start your day?
I start each day. Every other day, we're stretching. I have a home gym. And on the other days, I go to the Inglewood Aquatic Center where I swim lanes for half an hour and then head into the office. I always draw a card from my wealth and wisdom deck for a little inspiration.
Okay, super. Do you think entrepreneurs have to be weird or unique, but in a positive way, or just wired differently?
Entrepreneurs definitely are different than the others being the people that work in the time and effort economy. It does take a unique mindset and set of skills to survive in the business world as an entrepreneur. And I feel that you have to work hard, driven for success in order to compete and to win.
Okay. What books are you reading right now or listening to audiobooks? And can you recommend any books for our listeners who are also aspiring entrepreneurs?
Currently, I'm reading the Hunter Harrison biography, who was the CEO of CN and CP Rail. It's a compelling read. It's a wonderful book. He was an outstanding business figure that really took place in the last 10 years. And finding that to be very interesting as an entrepreneur. I'm also reading Stephen Harper's book, Right Here, Right Now, on populism. Good read. And I love my Sunday New York Times.
Okay. Speaking of Sunday New York Times, what about online tools? What do you use on a daily basis for your work and for your pleasure, I guess?
I participate in the Strategic Coach Program, which is a program for entrepreneurs. I've been with that program for years and have great webinars and online learning. It keeps me motivated.
Okay. If you weren't doing what you do now, what would you like to do for a profession?
I think that I would like to be a writer, writing novels in the Jason Bourne, Robert Ludlum, Ian Fleming genre would be my ideal gig.
Okay. In this day and age, there's a lot of talk about work-life balance. How do you balance that touchy area, and how do you relax and not think about work? And what are kind of some of your favorite activities to do out there in the city?
Well, the elusive work-life balance, everyone's striving for that. I like live music. I like going out to performance venues, and that's one of my passions. I also hike. I like to swim, and I'm a great reader. I love reading books, and that's my escape.
Okay, you've obviously chosen a career that you love and have passion for. What kind of a job would you not like to do?
Well, I volunteered and worked at the Calgary Drop-In and Rehab Center for many years, and I don't think I'd like to work with people with addictions. I see that as a huge challenge, one that I'm not suited for. I admire the people that can do it, and that's one area that I would avoid.
Michael, what is in business, what is your favorite word, quote, or sentence that you like to use?
Well, I always fall back to the Vince Lombardi chestnut. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Okay, and you're a tough guy, I guess.
Soft at heart.
What is your least favorite word or sentence you don't like to hear?
Least favorite word is the word can't. This doesn't exist in my world, in my vocabulary. In my world of commercial real estate leasing, anything is possible.
If you had to pick one or two words to describe yourself, what would they be and why?
Creative, driven, maniacal.
What keeps you up at night, if anything?
I worry about the business environment, the country that my three sons and their children will inherit. I also worry about Alberta's place in Confederation. A lot of things concern me right now. Trust me, I sleep like a baby.
Okay, then. Can you give us the top three things on your inspired life list?
I would like to hike the Camino Santiago in Spain. I'd like to live in Italy for a year. And I'd love to live in Ireland.
I'm going to ask you a little further question about the Camino. Why?
The Camino would be a great escape for really a month and a half at my speed, where you could experience some spiritual time, great fitness, great friendships, and explore the history of Europe.
Do you have any advice, Michael, that you may have received over the years that you can pass on to entrepreneurs?
My advice would be to become the local sharpshooter in your industry, become the expert, think globally and act local.
Now, here's an interesting question for you. And there's a small tropical island just off of Fiji that only has one phone booth there with no internet. We're going to drop you off there, and you won't have a computer or smartphone, tablet, any kind of device. You can use the phone booth located there anytime to call the boat, and we'll come pick you up. How long would it take you before you made that call, and what would you do there while you were there?
Well, as the alpha male, I would take over the island. I would look for the beach where the ladies are, and I would only use the phone booth, check in to see who won Stanley Cup on an annual basis. I don't think I'd ever come back.
How can our listeners, Michael, get a hold of you, and is there anything you would like to add before we leave today?
Well, I'd like to thank you for asking me to participate. It's a great honor. People can reach me by email at mike@fairfieldcommercial.com or by telephone 403-263-4100.
Thanks, Michael, for being our guest on Calgary's podcast. I've learned a lot about you, your business, and I'm sure our listeners have as well.